all of my fashion content flopped this year. I am not pretty enough to be successful on the internet. Trust me, from someone who has avoided that at all costs. And I hate to be the one to break the news to you, but TikTok and short form content is hard. No amount of equipment will make you successful. Everyone says this all the time, but I didn't want to accept it. Hi, welcome to my video. This is Anything to Wear, and I talk all things fashion. And this week, I'm going to talk to you guys about how all of my fashion content flopped this year and everything that I've learned. If this is your first time seeing my face, then I'm going to share a little bit of context with you guys. Last January, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for 2025 and everything that I wanted to accomplish, I decided to commit to posting consistently on the internet all year so that I could really do something with my creativity. I was feeling like I was hitting a wall at work where I was accomplishing things, but I felt like I wasn't being as creative as I wanted to be. And I had always really enjoyed the internet. I want to be able to create things and people consume them and enjoy them and make a community and eventually make money from it. How fun would it be to get to be creative for a living? And in today's video, I want to share tips that I learned this whole year and hopefully share some of my mistakes so that you guys don't make the same mistakes if you're also pursuing being successful on the internet. So I've split this video into 3 different sections. My first chunk will be on things that I've learned from posting both on TikTok and YouTube. Then we'll go over to TikTok and then we'll finish off with things that I've learned from posting on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, number 1, and I think probably the most controversial one on this list, I learned that I am not pretty enough to be successful on the internet with low effort content. It seems like the people who gain a lot of traction and inevitably like do numbers on the internet very quickly are people who are just very gorgeous. And so I learned the hard way that I'm not in that boat. I'm not in that boat, and that's okay. And so my key takeaway for that learning is that social media is not easy for normal people. I think it's important to be conscious of that because then you can be a lot more objective and realistic about the content that you're creating. Even though you're aware of the fact that your appearance isn't going to be the thing that like ultimately makes you super successful, it's important to be comfortable with that fact. So for example, I started out with YouTube actually a couple years ago. It was like during the pandemic. Again, I'd always been a really big fan of YouTube. And so I wanted to try posting on YouTube, but I was a couple years younger and honestly not really comfortable with my appearance to the level where I am today. And I remember making videos for YouTube and just increasingly getting more and more self-conscious about my appearance, even though I had like 0 haters. But just sitting and editing footage of myself every single day was driving me crazy. I could see absolutely every single imperfection on my face and it was killing me. And I think it's important to have a certain level of confidence, maybe just self-security when you're getting ready to post on the internet, because gosh, if you're not at that level, 1, it'll probably kill you, the fact that you're not pretty enough to go viral. And 2, it is going to absolutely mess with your head if all you can pay attention to is your physical flaws. I definitely captured that a lot quicker in my like posting journey over the last 12 months. And I'm comfortable with that. Number 2, the second takeaway that I have from posting both on TikTok and YouTube is that yes, consistency matters, but it doesn't matter nearly as much as value. Everyone and their mother will tell you like consistency is everything. You have to be posting X amount of times a day. This is the number, 3 times a day, 2 times a week, like whatever it is. It really doesn't matter how often you're posting if what you're putting out into the world has 0 value. Every time you post something, you need to be giving something. And people have broken it down into like different pillars. Like I've heard this for several years now. Like your content should always be educating, inspiring, or entertaining. And honestly, that's pretty solid. I will say I'm aligned with those 3 categories. Whenever you're making content, it should not only feel good to you, obviously to make, you should be enjoying the things that you're making ultimately, but you have to very objectively consider if whether or not you'd watch, scroll, if you weren't the one behind the camera. That's hard to hear. But then two, it's honestly taken a load off of my back because, like I said, there's people that tell us on the internet, they're like, you need to post 3 times a day or else you're going to flop. And that's not necessarily true. You really don't have to post 3 times a day, in my opinion. But if you do, you need to make sure that every single thing you post has value and is giving something to your audience. Number 3, this one is a little bit more controversial too, but no amount of equipment will make you successful. And what I mean by that is there are super, super successful YouTubers, streamers, whoever, that create all of their content on their phones. But they have other aspects of themselves that their audience members appreciate. A lot of the times it's like they're super entertaining, they're super gorgeous, or they live really aspirational lives. I always felt like I would blame my equipment for not being successful. Like, I'd always say to myself, oh, like if only I had like the Canon, if only I had a really nice camera, if only I had a really nice apartment, if only I had a really nice house. And I'm at the point in my life where I really do live in a beautiful house and I get to buy awesome clothes and I get to buy like a nice camera. But even though I have all of those things, my content is still flopping. Again, it's kind of one of those things where you have to be really, really objective. It might help a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously people like to watch content that's nice quality. Nobody likes to watch content that looks like they were filmed on like a 2008 Nokia, but it's not everything. Obviously that's not gonna be the thing, the keys to the kingdom. Like, it's really not. And so if you're someone who really wants to start posting on the internet, obviously having a decent camera is important, but I'd say spend way more time and energy into making sure that your actual content, your ideas is like A+. You definitely, what you're delivering is what's most important than just the like pretty package that it's wrapped in. And then the last tip that I'll share in this category is going to be analytics sometimes don't make a ton of sense, but they're important. And they give you something to start with. So I'm not an analytics expert. I definitely recommend like searching other parts of the internet for how to understand your analytics. But I think the basics are fairly intuitive. Like in YouTube Studio and TikTok Studio, you can see which content is performing the best, which content is getting you the most engagement, which content is giving you the most followers, the most views. And I think in this day and age, especially in the way that social media is changing, engagement will obviously continue to be super important, as well as retention rate and the act of building an engaged community. I think the most frustrating thing about social media is how much time and energy you can put into one single video, and then you'll look at your analytics and go, I know objectively this is a good video, but it didn't perform and this feels like shit. If you're running into that a lot, I'd say go back into your numbers and see what has performed well in the past and just start from there again. So for example, sometimes when I start to get really, really frustrated with fashion content that I'm producing not being, well received by my audience, the algorithm, whatever, I go back into my numbers and I go, okay, well, the last time that I had a semi-successful video, it was about journaling. So let me go ahead and make something about journaling to just kind of revitalize my algorithm and help me feel more motivated to keep making content, because it's hard. Now let's move on to some of the mistakes and some of the things that I've learned from posting on TikTok. Number 1 that I think is the most important, and it's short form content does not equal low effort content. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, a lot of the times actually, I do make like a lip singing video where I'm like doing a trending audio or whatever. And those things are really easy to make. They are. Objectively, that's easy to make. But it's not always the things that translate to, again, like an engaged community. When you participate in these like trending audios and low effort content where like maybe you're not always showing your face. Maybe it's like a 3-second clip. Maybe it's just like a relatable line. Unless it's something that's truly showing your personality and you're not really banking on the relatability aspect, it's not really going to build a ton of followers for you or engagement or long-term retention. And I hate to be the one to break the news to you, but TikTok and short form content is hard and it takes time to produce. And ultimately, I've seen that the videos that translate to engaged followers are TikToks that take time to make. There's other experts on this that like give recommended breakdowns on how much effort you should be putting into your strategy. Like maybe someday your Mondays are your low effort and then Tuesday are high effort, or so on and so forth. Takeaway for that one is short form doesn't always mean low effort. What else? This is kind of piggybacking. This one's kind of piggybacking off of the last one. You have to talk. Even on TikTok, even though TikTok lends itself to videos where you don't necessarily have to speak or show your personality, ultimately, if you're showing up 100% as yourself and speaking a ton in your videos on TikTok, that's what's going to make you see and reap a lot of the benefits out of your efforts. Trust me, from someone who has avoided that at all costs on TikTok and ultimately has not seen a ton of success. So definitely for going forward, I'm going to be doing a lot more talking videos, even though they are harder to make. But what's the point in kind of like pouring all of these hours and energy into videos that just aren't working? My next takeaway is try everything, but make sure that you like what you're trying. So people give advice on TikTok where it's like, don't niche down. Like, yes, do content that you enjoy, but like throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. I think that's true to a certain extent, but whatever you're creating and putting out into TikTok and then hoping that it goes viral or whatever, make sure that it's recreatable and that you actually like making it. Sometimes people will do like trending little audios for challenges or things like that. It's not necessarily recreatable after that trend is done, or it's not really something that they necessarily enjoy. Like, for example, I'll never make a cooking TikTok, even though like occasionally I feel like I have like a really good recipe, or I'm having a day where I'm like, I want to show TikTok what I'm cooking tonight. I don't like cooking, so I'm never gonna make cooking content. And then the last tip that I'll give, I need to spend a lot less time scrolling and a lot more time working on my actual content. Sometimes I fall into the trap of like, I need to scroll to see what's trending. I need to scroll to see what other people are doing so I can get inspo. And that leads me to just like hours of doom scrolling and throwing time away when I could really just be investing that brain rot into my own content and creating things that come from my point of originality. People are just advising users on the internet to scroll less in general, and I think that is going to be especially valuable for people who are creative, because it'll kind of just like cloud your creativity process a lot less, and then hopefully lead with more individuality in the content that you're creating. Okay, now we've reached the point in the video where I'm going to talk about things that I've specifically learned from posting on YouTube. Number one, if you're even thinking about starting a YouTube video, you need to make sure that you enjoy video creation. I think on TikTok you can get away for a little bit and not being super savvy with video editing or anything like that. You don't have to be a pro to create good videos on TikTok. You don't. You do have to have a certain level of skill with video editing to post on YouTube. Even if you're doing pretty basic editing, there's still a learning curve to making sure that your videos actually look good, that they're enjoyable. There is a level of presentation that you have to have. And if you don't have that, if you don't have a passion for creating videos and video editing, YouTube is not going to be fun for you. Unless you have like the resources to hire a video editor, then by all means, go ahead. But if you're going to be doing the grunt work behind producing your videos, you need to like it, or else you're going to burn out so fast. Make sure that you're starting with that for sure. That's been the main one for me. Like, whew, I had to learn a lot and to really commit to enjoying this process. The lighting changed a little bit. Sorry about that. My camera died. But anyways, let's keep going. Next lesson learned I have for YouTube is that YouTube shorts will not translate to loyal subscribers if you're not using them the right way. Like, I posted a short a couple months ago. It was like a random lip syncing short that had nothing to do with like any of my long form content on YouTube. I think it got me over 100 subscribers in like 24 hours. Very successful. That felt amazing. But do those subscribers watch my videos? No. I think just be very strategic of how you use the shorts function on YouTube and make sure that it aligns and acts as a funnel for your long form content. It can be a great tool for discovery in ways that YouTube hasn't offered in the past. Like, for example, the first time I tried YouTube a couple of years ago, shorts did not exist. But if the content is not directly aligning with what you like to post for your long form YouTube videos, honestly, those subscribers don't end up coming back to your page and watching your videos and engaging with your content long term. I think it's great for like vanity numbers, if you're looking to specifically grow your subscriber count. Shorts can help you get there, but ultimately, like, those people, if they're engaging with shorts that have little to do with your channel content, then they're not gonna stick around for the long term. And then last one. Everyone says this all the time, but I didn't want to accept it. I'm finally accepting it. Nobody cares about my vlogs. Nobody cares about my vlogs if they have nothing to offer. I love my life, and I really like watching my vlogs back because selfishly, that's just entertaining to me. But it's not entertaining to other people. My most successful vlogs on my channel have all been travel vlogs, obviously, because I'm traveling to different popular locations, and then people watch them if they're also going to those locations, and then they figure out what they want to do on vacation. But my day-to-day life is really not exciting enough, and I am not entertaining enough on the daily, and so that's a hard pill to swallow, but I have swallowed it at this point. It makes me a little bit sad. Doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to explore vlog format. I just have to be a little bit more strategic with the way that I approach vlogs, and that would be my advice to other people who are also struggling with their vlog content to take off. And it's just understanding what part of your vlog is driving that value for your viewers. Kind of going back to my earlier notes, everything that you post has to give something away to people. And if entertainment isn't enough, if inspiration isn't enough, then what am I teaching people during my vlogs? So I haven't cracked the code on that one yet, but I am not entirely discouraged. I will continue to explore that in the future. Those are all the tips that I have for YouTube. And I'm going to leave you guys with one last learning lesson that I have just from all of it. And it's that you're probably going to flop. You're probably going to flop, but that's okay. You have to keep going. I had a breakdown like a couple months ago where I literally sat on the couch and cried. And my husband can attest to this. And I was just like, I literally don't get why it's not working. If I'm pouring all of this energy into posting on the internet, why is it still not working? And he was just really honest with me in telling me that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and you just have to continue to push through. A lot of people have to go through a pretty long period of time of understanding their audience, growing their audience. Everyone starts somewhere. And so, yeah, you're probably going to have a ton of duds, just as I have all year. And that's okay. I'm going to keep going, and hopefully you guys stick around to watch it all unfold. I hope that I continue to improve my skills and just get to be creative, because I think at the end of the day, like I was mentioning at the beginning of my video, being creative is the most exciting part of my day. When I get to film videos, when I get to write and research and prepare for my content, that is when I feel the most fulfilled, and that is the thing that keeps me going. So that'll continue to be my fuel. Okay, that's it. Bye.